Let's begin with the overall story of the poem. Here we see a man or a woman at a crossroads. Now this crossroads is metaphorical. There's no critic who thinks that this crossroads is purely literal. In Western civilization, the idea of a crossroads goes back to the Bible, where Jesus says that there is a crossroads with a narrow path which leads to heaven, and few travel that one, but the way to hell is wide and many people go on it. It's like a highway. So this is the idea of a crossroads. I believe the idea of the road of life, or a crossroads, probably dates back before Jesus. Jesus probably got it from somewhere else. And I believe that this is also an image in Chinese culture. For instance, Journey to the West, or the so-called monkey text, uses the image of the road of life. So the crossroads, what is the crossroads? Well, the crossroads is quite obviously, in the poem, a metaphor for making a life choice. And what is the context of this life choice? Well, we know that this is a life choice that is contextualized in a yellow wood, and there is grass on the ground, and pretty much there is no sense that there is anyone else around. However, there have been other people passing down the roads. So we're not told when this choice is taking place. We're not told what this is a choice about. Instead, we have this mythologicalized image of a lone individual standing at a crossroads, alone in the silence of a wood, I don't know, a yellow wood, which puts it in the northern hemisphere, in the broadleaf forests of North America or Europe. We don't have yellow woods in Australia. The trees keep their leaves all year round. So I think that it's a little bit alienating for me as an Australian reader to come to this image of the yellow wood. But at the same time, it's an image which resounds with Indo-European mythology. For instance, Heidegger, in his major work, imagined coming to truth as coming to a clearing in the wood. It's the same kind of abstraction of the wood into a mythological image, with the individual as a mythological figure. This is a choice that is abstracted. It's not a choice that is taking place in society. It's a choice that is not taking place in what Marx called social conditions that you're born into. It's a choice that is abstracted. A choice that could be anywhere, anyone, anytime. And we're not told what it's a choice about. So the scene concerns life choices. These life choices could be, should I stay in Australia or emigrate to Taiwan? Or it could be, should I marry Jane or Mary? Or it could be, should I have children? Should I convert to Islam or stick with Buddhism? Well, we can see that the persona in the poem is puzzled. He is not sure of the long-term consequences of his decision. So he writes, long I stood and looked down one road, as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Okay, so he's consciously trying to assess the benefits or the consequences of his choice. This is important, because capitalism says that individuals enter into work agreements of their own free choice. Capitalists say anywhere, at any time, at all times in history, there have been employers and workers. And the difference between a worker and a slave is that a worker freely enters into an arrangement with the capitalist. So this image of making a life choice could be also, should I work for the Nike factory? Let's imagine for a second that I am a boy of 7 trying to earn money for my family, my starving family, and I'm confronted with the question of, should I freely enter into a contract and work 14 hours a day in a sweatshop for less than $1 a day? Is this really a free choice? Marx says this is not a free choice, that this is a choice that is conditioned by society and constrained by social conditions. In other words, I'm not free to choose anything I want. I can only choose options that society will allow me to choose. And what I choose has to do with the way my upbringing and the way I've been conditioned to think about the situation. The capitalist says any job is better than no job. But if I'm not working for Nike, maybe I could be growing potatoes and beans in the backyard. The United Nations is very interested, for example, in promoting backyard agriculture to supplement the situation where more than 50% of the population of the planet is food or water insecure or both, which means they don't have a steady supply of food and water. Under these situations, is it really fair to say that they go into factories or work on plantations as a free choice